Hello and welcome to part two of this three-part homework. If you missed part one, you should probably go back and listen to it. In part one, I introduced this time class, and time.h was the declaration of the file, and we see the public interface here with three methods and the private interface with the three data members defined. And we talked about the include guard, which is a preprocessor idiom, line 7, 8, and 21, to ensure that we only include time.h once. Okay, on to the second file, which is the definition or the implementation or the body of the class that we are defining. And notice that we do include time.h. We're cheating and using namespace standard, but it'll work for now. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual methods that we are implementing here. The first one is setTime, and this is how we will initialize the data members to the time that we want it to be. So every minute we could call this, and we could update it using the system clock or something like that. We take three integers, hours, minutes, seconds, and we test them to make sure that they're greater than or equal to 0 and less than 24, which means 23 since these are integers. And we're testing greater than or equal to 0 for minutes and less than 60, greater than or equal to 0 and less than 60 for seconds. Now, if somebody calls the setTime method against one of these time objects and passes it anything out of this range, then it's going to throw the invalid argument with a message, and we'll demonstrate that too. The second method of three is going to return time as a string in universal time format, which is hours, minutes, seconds, and 0 through 2359. We're using, instead of outputting to the screen, which you're used to doing, using the cout object or the clog or the cerr object, we are outputting to another object. We're storing this formatted string, and we're using some control. We're using some, we're going to set the fill character to be 0. We're going to set the width of a column to 2, and we're going to send it hour, which is data. We're going to send it a colon, which is data. And then we're going to send some more control here. We're going to tell the output object that we want to set the width again to 2. We're going to send it some data, the minutes, send it some data, the literal colon, set the column width to 2, and then we're going to send it some data, which is the second. This output is O-string stream, and we haven't really covered that yet. We're picking that up from this string stream include up here. The control set W for set width and set fill for the fill character. We're getting that from iomanip. And then the final method is going to format, sorry, let me find my cursor, there we go. The final method is a little more complicated than the first one, and this is where we set the time to the standard string format. And the thing that's different here is we're testing the time if it's equal to 0 or equal to 12, we force it to 12. If it's neither of those, then we do a modulo divide or a remainder divide. So if it happens to be 7 a.m., 7 modulo divide with 12 is going to return 7, and we have 7 a.m. If it's more than 12, it's going to send back, say it's 13, it's going to send back 13 modulo divide by 12 as a remainder of 1. And so that's going to send back a 1, even if it's 13. And then we test it again. If it's less than 12, we print AM, and if it's greater than 12, or it's 12 or greater than 12, then we print PM. And then we return the output string in both of those. Okay, so that is the end of part 2. and I'll go get part 3 set up.